Okay, I want to thank people for joining in on the Qigong class this morning, and I just wanted to do a quick review of the Taoist Yoga, Alchemy, and Immortality book that I have been studying off and on for the past 25 years, and or maybe like 24. Who's counting? Anyway, mostly off. It is an intense book. There's a lot of um, decoding of terminology. Some of it's a bit vague, but this book is part of the Dragon Gate alchemy tradition that I consider my own Spring Force Qigong teacher also to be part of. Although he's never said that directly, but just from what he's described for his teaching. And so the book is free online, and I suppose I can give like a fancier presentation. It'd be kind of fun to like just go through the book as a video screen editing thing. I'll probably do that. But I just want to go through some notes that I made. And essentially, there's two steps. The first half of the book, there's 16 chapters, or maybe I think it's 16. Maybe it's 12 chapters. But anyway, the first, I think it's 12 chapters. And the first the first half of the book is on the first 6 chapters, I know for sure, are on the third eye, or the enlightenment experience. And well, actually, the third eye doesn't describe being fully opened until page 124, which is, I don't remember what chapter that is, but it's definitely not chapter 6, so it's further in. But one thing I added to the exercise is this morning I mentioned for the meditation is rotating the eyes on the kidneys. This book is based on the small universe meditation, which is what we practice in the Spring Force Qigong. And so that there's a slight pause. The meditation that Spring Force Qigong uses is what's called the accelerated small universe meditation, and that accelerated version is actually found in the Zhonggong school, which is what Jinye trained in. That's how he got certified as an international Qigong master. This is just my own personal view. Maybe I'm wrong, but everything I'm saying is just my personal opinion here. But that the Zhonggong training, they did it at Mount Qingcheng, which is spelled, well, it probably has different spellings, but it's a sacred Taoist mountain, which is part of the Dragon Gate alchemy training. You can also find Master Wan Zhongming, who teaches there, and he's definitely part of the Dragon Gate lineage. And so he also does the cave meditation, just as Jinye did the cave meditation at Mount Qingcheng. So that's the context of this book. this book, Taoist Yoga, Alchemy, Immortality, is from a different like lineage of the Dragon Gate. There's like various offshoots of the Dragon Gate lineage. It's also called the Complete Reality, School of Complete Reality. So it dates back to like the 1100s, I think, around 1100 AD. I think is when it started, around there. But of course, it includes immortal, supposed, Taoist immortals, which means they're going to be around forever, apparently. The whole universe. As a golden immortal body. And that's what this book is training you how to do, which is hard to believe in itself, but assuming it is possible and true, which I think it is. But so then you have to figure out the book. Now, the book is based on Wan Qi. Wan Qi is the original Qi or cosmic Qi, but it's also called unified Yin Qi and Yang Qi. So when you have Yin Qi and Yang Qi unified, then it's Wan Qi. Undifferentiated Yin Yang is Wan Qi. But the question is, how do you combine the two together? And that's where the alchemy happens. It requires the sublimation and purification. And so the kidneys are the sublimation, the heart is the purification. And so in chapter 6 in this book, they describe that process of rotating the eyes on the kidney and the heart, so that the shen, which is the spirit, which emanates out of the eyes when the eyes are open, but when you close the eyes, then it gets focused internally. And then when you rotate the eyes, you're getting those two different, you have the yin and yang shen. I'm just talking for males because I think it's the opposite for females, excuse me, as I stutter from lack of water. We'll get some water. Anyway, so I'm just describing this for males because I am a male, and I don't know. I apologize for not giving like what it'd be for females, but I think it's probably just like the opposite. So whatever that means. So the yin shen, the yang shen is the left eye. When you meditate, it turns into yang shen. And then the yin shen is the right eye, but the left eye is yin qi, and the right eye is yang qi. And so that's why when you're combining the yin and yang qi, you're also combining the yin and yang shen, but you're doing it in the opposite way. So there's a lot of tricks to the book, the training, the details. So the first stage of the enlightenment is called Wan Qi, being when you activate your Wan Qi, then it creates this light of your Wan Shen, which is your original spirit, or Shen means spirit. So it's like your soul manifesting. And they also call that moonlight. It's the equivalent of moonlight. So you see like a white light inside your head, but you also see it externally. And that's why I said that they don't actually describe that happening fully. To fully open your third eye, it doesn't get to that till page 124 in the book, which is farther along than chapter 6. So in order to fully open the third eye, you have to keep building up the Wan Qi until it's strong enough, and you have to do that through the Yang Qi. And that's why it requires the sublimation and purification, because the Yang Qi is from the life force energy. So that first half of enlightenment is based on how much Yang Qi you have stored up. And that's why the younger you are, the easier it is to have this enlightenment experience, and then ideally you want to fully open the third eye, and then it's permanently open. I had an enlightenment experience, but I did not keep building up the yang qi. Instead, I like burned it off. I did that. The book describes what you're not supposed to do, and that's what I did. So we'll get into that more, but you just keep practicing. You can. The book says, even if you're older, you can still keep practicing and try to restore your yang qi. It's a lot harder to do because then you have to rely on food, and then the food turns into yin qi. And then again, through meditation, through purification, you can turn it back into yang qi, through celibacy and purification, and so celibacy, sublimation. Now, assuming you kept doing that, so you get your third eye fully open. Another thing is that the farther you get along, the energy kind of accelerates. Like you have to stay committed and go deeper into the meditation. So when you start seeing the golden light is when you keep adding more and more yin qi to the yang qi through the yang shen, and that's why the golden light is actually the yang shen developing. And so that's based on the wan jing. So first you have the wan qi to the wan shen, and then you have the second half, the second level of enlightenment as immortality, is the golden light as wan qi to the wan jing, and the wan jing is your life force. So that's through the yin qi. So yin qi actually comes from yang jing, which is when you purify it, it becomes wan jing, which again means original jing, which would be like original life force or cosmic life force. And so the wan qi, what happens is that, okay, let me just follow my notes here. But eventually, so that would leave you with yang qi, and for the original enlightenment, and then yang shen for the immortal spirit, the immortal body is from the yang shen. And that's basically like light that can turn into matter. The immortal body can pick up objects. It can be seen by other people. It's a golden immortal body, and it can it's golden, the golden immortal body, but then it reverts back to wan qi in its original form. So the wan qi is formless awareness. It's formless information that's also energy, and it's also the truth of the universe. It's the Tao, and you cannot see it. And so everything is actually wan qi inherently. It's just that when you consciously go back to the wan qi, then you can create this golden immortal body that can then do countless transmutations of matter. If you think of all matter as actually made of light, that's how that explains that process. Okay, so that's basically what the book is about as a whole. Now let's go into some more details. And like I said, I took notes. Of course, my notes are scribbled in pencil. Here we go. And okay, so the wan shen is in the book. It's called prenatal spirit. In the heart is what they also call nature, and the wan qi is the prenatal vitality, which is what they call qi, vitality. In the lower abdomen is life. Only when spirit and vitality, or shen and qi, unite can real achievement be made. So the wan qi manifests through the reproductive organ, and the wan shen manifests through the eyes. Now, Okay, so the void is also devoid of feelings and passion. Um, and then when you build up the shen and the qi, it will soar up to form a circle of light, which is not void. It's voidness which radiates, and it's absolute. So at that stage, you start seeing light outside of your body. First, you see light with your eyes closed, but then the more you practice, the more you open the third eye, then the more you'll see light both outside and inside your body at the same time. And that's when you can start seeing in four directions at the same time, as Qigong master gymnast told me that's what he can do. So the book then says, in the center of the brain is a pearl of the size of a grain of rice. Now that's in Western science, we know that as the pineal gland. That's the pineal gland, a pearl of the size of a grain of rice. And then they call that the cavity of yuan-qi. So the yuan-qi will emanate out of the pineal gland. But then the book clarifies, but you also need the yuan-shen to prepare the, quote, elixir of immortality. Now, more on that elixir soon enough. So when yuan-shen is cultivated, then the yuan-qi emerges. So this points out that you're required to first meditate and develop the yuan-shen in order to develop the yuan-qi. And so the two kind of, the yuan-qi exists originally, but you're required to use the shen to cultivate the qi, and so they kind of feed off each other. Like you can make more shen from more qi, and then vice versa. You need the shen in order to make the qi originally, alchemically. If the, quote, non-rising of a single thought is achieved, this will lead to clearness and purity. In the complete voidness of sense data and utter stillness, a white light will manifest to light up the empty, what does that say? Empty heart, which is the hall of voidness. And the golden mechanism will give out flashes of light. So that means that you start developing the immortal body. And Chen Yilin, he talks about how he always sees a spark of gold light in his lower dantian. Okay, so the yuan-shen is the source of yuan-qi. Again, that's on page 4. So that's just pointing out that in order to first develop the yuan-qi, you have to rely on turning the light around through meditation is the yuan-shen. So then you have to restore the generative force, the life force, which then is the source of the qi. And so you have to conserve the yang jing, the life force, which is the yin qi, and then the yang and the yang qi for rejuvenation of the body. And so the yang qi has substance. It's like sort of like your cerebral spinal fluid, but it's the force that's attached to that. The yuan-qi is then purified by alchemy through the yuan-shen, and it comes down behind the tongue, again up against the palate. And so the yuan-qi will gather between and behind the eyes and in the yuan-shen cavity, which is the third eye, what we typically is called the third eye. So the object of contemplation, this cavity in the center of the brain, should always be concentrated on, and the heart will become pure, and thereby causing the vitality, the qi in the body to be overwhelming, and the body to become robust, and the absolute void of the yuan-shen will then be established. If the tongue is not pressed up against the palate, then the yuan-qi will not flow to the lower dantian, and the wan qi will drain away. Now, for males, that's what drain away means, is celibacy. Celibacy has to be maintained. So the Tao is the wan shen with the qi united, as I explained. This is the first enlightenment experience that has to then get stabilized. The wan qi is essential Xing, which means it has this shen. When it's essential, it's like the spirit fire in the water. So the wan qi is inherent to the Xing. So in other words, as my training manual explains, you put the your fire or your spirit under the water, which is the Xing, life force, and that creates the wan qi as a boiling water. And that goes all the way back to the San Bushman original human culture, like 70,000 years ago at least, or 100,000 years ago. So the Wan Jing is, or Yang Jing is the Yin Qi. And then as this builds up and you start seeing the golden sparks of light, then that's called the Wan, the original microcosmic agent, the alchemical agent. And you have to be unmindful of it at the same time that you turn it back to sublimate it and purify it. So it's like that's why it's alchemy, because it's a meditation that's unmindful at the same time that you physically are cultivating it. So the Wan Shen is situated in the third eye. The pupils of the eyes are linked to it, and the heart. And the Wan Shen is in the heart, but manifest in the third eye. It does not exist in the third eye until the Wan Qi develops to unite with the Wan Shen. So again, you have to, before you're going to see the light that as the Wan Shen, you have to first develop the Wan Qi through the Yin Qi feeding the Yang Qi, and then unifying. When blood reaches the lower dantian, it changes to Yin Jing, and so that's from the food. Normally the blood and then digests, and the Yin Jing is what gets lost normally. Saliva from under the tongue flows down the front channel, also changing it into Yin Jing, or Yin Qi. So after 10 months of concentration of Wan Qi, original Qi in the lower dantian, then the Wan Shen will manifest. And then the macrocosmic alchemical agent will develop to realize immortality. So the Wan Qi is actually the basis of the immortality. It is the truth of immortality, but it's also the truth of the universe, and it's impersonal. So it's a bit of a paradox there. And so the Wan Qi should feed the inner fire, transforming food into Yin Qi. And then when arousal occurs, the Wan Shen should be driven into the lower dantian through meditation to unite with the Wan Qi. So again, you put the fire under the water to create the Wan Qi, which is the steam or the boiling water, the steam of the water as it boils. Yin Qi of the heart and Yang Qi of the lower dantian will unite, and thereby increase the Yang Qi. So then this is called the positive force. So you're creating the Wan Qi from increased Yang Qi, and then it will soar up as the spirit vitality, the Shen, the shenshui, opening up the third eye. So then you see the circle of light as the Tai Chi, the supreme ultimate. And that's from before your body existed. And it's also, that's when the fetus breathing starts kicking in, for the macrocosmic alchemical agent. The immortal breathing is also called fetus breathing. So the postnatal breathing after you're born causes your wan shen, your original spirit, to move to the heart, and the postnatal breathing moves your wan qi to the lower dantian. So before you're born, your spirit and your qi are united when you're in the womb. In your own lower dantian. Actually, it's behind your navel. So it's only after you're born that the spirit moves to the heart. And then the spirit becomes displaced by thinking, and alas, the wan qi and the wan shen, the original spirit from before you're born, and the wan qi will never unite again unless you do this alchemy training. So that's the whole point, is to return them back to what they were like from before you were born. And so now the shen is coming out of the heart when it should be below the water, in order to restore how it was from before you were born. And then you can, when you put the shen below the water, then you can activate the wan qi, which is the immortality of the truth of the universe from before you were born also. Okay? So the yang qi increases as you grow up. It's because you've separated the wan qi and the wan shen when you start breathing. But so now you have it as yang qi and yin qi in the body. So the yang qi increases to its maximum when you're about 16 years old. And most of that is from your what's called your generational energy. It's actually from your previous lives and maybe your future lives, I don't know, from heaven and earth. So the book says 360 units of that is from heaven and earth, and then only 24 units is inherited from your parents. So it's kind of interesting, because the yang qi is from your life force energy, but it's actually this life force energy that's from previous lives. The wan shen is replaced by the heart, so passions and desires fill the being, fill your being as you get older, and then so the qi dissipates, and you use it up that way through the yin qi and the yang qi separated. And so I know all about that. I'm good at that. Okay, so the wan shen is then gambled away with wine and sex and thus the qi is drained away, and you become immortal, which, big surprise, right? But so the wan shen is the spirit coming out of your heart, and that becomes the basis of your thinking and your passions. And in the absence of thoughts, the positive principle, the yang qi, will in time manifest through the reproductive organ, becoming turgid, and thus concentrate the yan shen, the original spirit, below the water, thereby creating the wan qi. So once again, you have to use your spirit as fire through meditation in order to create to restore your original cosmic chi, wan chi. And if this is not done in the absence of thoughts, then desire will turn the wan chi back into yin jing, which is generative reproductive fluid that cannot be gathered. So it all comes back to the shen, the spirit, and the purity of the emptiness of this, turning the light around as a immutable thought on the emptiness, the source of the thoughts. So the yang qi turned should be sublimated through quick fire, which is this fast breathing that, like the Wim Hof breathing method. That's what quick fire is. And this is not the same as gathering the reproductive fluid. So whenever somebody uses the term semen retention, that is not what the truth of alchemy is, because it's based on this emptiness of thoughts, and that like turns so you have the spirit under the water, and that's what creates the chi as the boiling of the water. So you do the quick fire, which is the 30 quick deep breaths. Actually, well, I think they do 9 per of the microcosmic orbit energies. So basically like the small universe meditation. And then when it goes up to the third eye, then the front channel descends to the medulla oblongata, which is in the back. So when you go down the front, you're actually going to the back of the base of your skull. As you go down the front, you go to the third eye, but the energy goes back to the base of the brain, and then it goes to the palate of the mouth for the front channel. And there's a fork in the upper jawbone where the wan chi can leak out. Just as I'm talking to you right now, that's what's happening. If I have any wan chi, I have to have some wan chi or else I wouldn't be alive. And then it goes to the pulmonary artery, and then the right ventricle of the heart. So this is the front channel going down. And then the hepatic artery under the diaphragm, and then to the lower dantian. And then to the reproductive organ, the testes. And okay, so an interesting thing here. I'm going to try to, hopefully you can still hear me. So the center of the palms of the hands are yin chi, and the middle finger, I'll try not to, is yang chi. I talked about this in the start of the meditation. So there's a hand mudra where you're connecting the yin and yang, and so that goes in. That's interesting because in Shaolin, like Chin Yulin, he teaches the thunder palms, which is he doesn't really teach us anymore, but that was one of the training we would do. So that's the center of the palm, and you can send out that energy. And then he teaches the sword fingers, which is the middle finger, which is another. You use it for different. You use that to break up energy blockages. You're using the yang chi is like more powerful because you're breaking up the blockages, and then you use the yin chi to send in energy. Anyway, standing exercises daily. You do the standing exercises daily to vibrate the 8 yin chi and yang chi channels or meridians, and that's what the 5 elements practice does. It does those. what's called the eight psychic channels of the yin and yang qi, which is really based on the the five elements. And so when you do the mudras of the legs and the hands, the left foot is yang, the right leg is yin, or the left leg is yang, and the center of the palm is yin. So that's embracing the top of the middle finger, which is yang. So that in the lower body, you have the positive embracing the negative of the lower body. So the positive is the left leg. That's why you want that on the outside or on the top when you sit in full lotus. And then for the upper body, you have the negative embracing the positive. So that's what it's actually the palms are the yin, and then the middle finger is the yang, with yang being positive and yin being negative. Not in a moral connotation, but okay. Okay, so then you gather the chi in the morning and you sublimate it in the evening, which means you would do this, ideally you would do the small universe meditation in the morning and in the evening. And the alchemy first requires controlling the heart. So what they call the five thieves steal the generative force, which becomes your yang qi. So you have to fight hard with the enemy to achieve the wan qi by overcoming the five thieves. And if you do that, you can lay the foundation of the third eye fully open, and then to develop the positive spirit, which is the goal of the immortality of a yang shen, an immortal body, through the alchemy training. So the first level of laying the foundation is to fully open the third eye, where you see the Tai Chi as the supreme ultimate, and you extract you build up the yang qi from the yin qi through meditation. So when you have the eyes closed and you're meditating, that's the yin qi is being added to the yang qi, and you build it up. And then only in serene voidness, when the heart is empty, will then you can unify the five elements, which was what we go through for the the five element practice. So the spirit of the shen, or spirit of the wood, is the called the incorporeal spirit. So that's part of the yin, the han shen. It's called the han shen. And then the shen of the metal, the spirit of the metal, which is your lungs. The wood is your liver, and the lungs would be your yang, the pulse, what's called the pulse soul, the han soul, and then the pulse soul is your corporal soul, which is for the yang qi. So the han soul, the incorporeal soul, is for the yin qi of the liver, but that's before you do the alchemy. So when you turn the han soul around, then it becomes the yang shen through the alchemy. When you turn the light around and focus it internally and down. So then the spirit returns to nothingness through immutable thought, and by doing that, the earth element equals the heart, which equals immutable thought. And so this is a paradox, because that will unify the other four elements into the heart as the earth as the thought. But again, normally the spirit comes out of the heart, but what you're doing is you're having the heart devoid of any passion, and therefore the spirit goes under the water into the earth. This is also what Kundalini literally means fire into the earth. And so that's what you're doing as alchemy, is you're putting the fire of your spirit under the water into the earth, which the earth is normally the stomach, and in the traditional Chinese medicine, acupuncture, but the here they're saying the earth is the heart. So again, why is that? Because you're emptying out your thoughts, and you have the immutable thought of the source of your spirit is actually the emptiness. The source of the light is this emptiness that cannot be seen. And that's your immutable thought, is actually the source of your thoughts, source of all thoughts. And by doing that, then the generative force, the life force, can be purified back into the Wan Qi. So the Wan Qi, again, is this original force that cannot be seen, but it can be listened to. So then the postnatal life force is from food, which then turns into yin qi, and the yin qi will then seek an outlet due to lack of free circulation as purification. So it will get turned into yin Xing, which then becomes a substance and then is lost out of the body. So that's why if you wanted to use food to restore your yang Xing, the food will turn into yin qi through the quick fire breathing, but then you have to do the slow fire, which is the meditation to purify the yin qi. So you use the quick fire to stop the transformation of yin qi into fluid, but it's the purification that actually builds up the yang qi again through the wan qi, through meditation. So that's why the Taoist Alchemy and Immortality book says it doesn't really matter how old you are. If you practice successfully and with total commitment, you can still achieve your goal. It's just much harder. It's more difficult if you're trying to work from yin qi with lack of yang qi. So that's what I say, do not burn up your yang qi, which is what I did, so it's too late. Oh, it's just a lot harder, more difficult. Okay, so then you're supposed to practice the small universe meditation every morning and evening. And the pupils of the eyes are actually the kidney energy, which is again the Wan Qi is where it's stored. But the corners of the eyes of the heart, the yin qi of the heart, the irises of the eyes of the liver, yin qi, the whites of the eyes of the lungs, yin qi, or actually that's yang qi. And the eyelids are the stomach energy. So then the spiritual fire is the golden light that destroys physical form to achieve immortality. So you have this immortal body, but when it can destroy itself. It goes back to Wan Qi, even though it's can be seen by other people. It can pick up objects. It's a golden immortal body, but it has to first destroy your physical body to achieve it. So it's kind of a little bit intense there. Like, oops, you have to destroy your own physical body first in order to achieve this immortal, eternal body. So maybe not so many people have done this. Maybe, like, supposedly Babaji in the Himalayas, he has this golden immortal body as well. And so He's part of the Kriya Yoga lineage. Okay, so the the mortal body is the yang shen, and it's from the wan qi. As the it's also called the boundless body, So in order to have that purification, you have to rotate the eyes during the heart and the kidney in the small universe practice. So that's why I mentioned doing that. Like if you can do it, that'd be awesome. You might have noticed I had trouble doing the small universe meditation and trying to rotate the eyes, because it's like an extra level of focus that. And then it made me go deeper into the meditation. So then I'm like totally forget, like, what am I doing? Like, okay, so now when you get this saliva, when you have the tongue against the roof of your mouth, you'll be producing saliva, and that will restore your yin qi. But as you go deeper into the meditation, the ambrosia is actually what they call the golden nectar, and that will become the golden elixir as you build that up from the yang qi. So it's like the cerebral spinal fluid, but it's more purified from the meditation, and that's why it's the golden nectar. So if the heart is unstirred, then the wan qi is strong enough to turn back the element of fire. And so that's why when you have your eyes open, the shen will rise up from the yin qi. As you build up the yin qi, it'll just fly up the front of your bodies and out of your eyes. That's why you have to keep your heart, the spirit of your heart actually originally as wan qi. It's under the water. It's not in the heart anymore. It's originally, before you were born, your spirit was not in your heart. It was in the elixir field of the womb, or the lower dantian. So that's the key secret, is that you have to put the heart back in the earth, as the spirit fire under the water, as the immutable thought on the emptiness, or the universe, if you want to call it the universe. You put your I am in the universe. So, and the universe is in my body, meaning your lower dantian. The universe and I combined together, meaning I am in the lower dantian to combine with the universe, and that's how you create the wan qi. And so then if you do then open up the third eye, then the immortal fetus breathing starts kicking in as the macrocosmic orbit. And when you do that, you actually breathe in. You have less physical breathing, and your body starts pulsating with the qi. And so then you can actually, what you have to do is you take in yin qi through the heels, and then it goes out the trunk, which is actually the base of your reproductive organ. And then you cycle the yin qi from the heels up the back, down the front, and then out the base of the trunk again of the body, the torso, at the base of the reproductive organ, which is also called the gate of mortality. So as you take in that yin qi, and then you're actually not really physically breathing so much anymore. And then when you do that, it will then cause your wan qi that's stored in the lower dantian to then move up the back channel as the yin qi is going down the front. So the yin qi is then cycling with the wan qi in the body. So you have to keep building up the wan qi and then cycling the yin qi up and down the front. Well, it'd be the yang qi. It's the yang qi going up the back, and then the yin qi going down the front. I think would it be yang qi? I think maybe it's yang qi either way. Well, you're taking in yin qi through the heels. Yeah, so I think you're breathing out yin qi, but I'm not sure if you're cycling yang qi. But the point is when it gets to the root of the trunk, then it activates the wan qi, and that will cause the wan qi then to cycle opposite of the yin and yang qi. And that's what the immortal breathing is you're not actually physically breathing as much anymore. You're slowing down. Like some of these yogis, when they achieve this state, like there's yogis in India, they'll get buried underground because they don't really need to breathe oxygen anymore because they're just taking in the yin qi and then activating the wan qi, and they're doing this immortal breathing, what they call immortal breathing. So it's very hard even to imagine this, but your body becomes supple like a baby, and it's literally like you're back in the womb again, and your bones are supple, and then you're breathing through the pulsating of the qi. It will create whatever your body physically needs at that point. And that's why people can go without food, and then they can also go without sleep also. So then the wan qi goes down the front while the yin and yang qi goes up the back, and that's what's called the macrocosmic orbit. And then you practice what's called freezing the spirit, which is again you just put the fire, your spirit, under the water, and then you freeze it for what they call cold storage. So you're doing very little physical breathing, and your heart is even barely pumping at that point. You're like basically like not alive anymore, but you're just relying on the qi to what they call freeze the spirit at that point, which is basically the whole foundation of the practice. Is you put your spirit, your fire as spirit, under the water of your life force to create a boiling water. So at this point you're just like just barely keeping it boiling, and so then the heels of the feet, the heels of your feet are directly linked to the medulla oblongata in the base of your brain. And true breathing is then considered through the heels, what they call true breathing. To be a real man in Taoism, what they call real man, is you're able to do this, what they call immortal inspiration, immortal in-breathing, and then immortal exhalation is through the mortal cavity at the base of the reproductive organ. So this is the yin qi getting exhaled out of the base of the reproductive organ is this basis of immortal exhalation. So it's pretty wild. It's pretty bizarre. I never studied this part of the book when I did my initial training, so I didn't understand this secret. I never achieved this. So the wan qi cannot leave the lower dantian by itself, and so that's why you have to do this immortal breathing to set, using the yin qi to set the wan qi in motion and through the body. So then the heart is considered the sun, sun, which is also the dragon, and then the tiger, which is the yin qi, and the tiger is the yang qi as the moon or the lower dantian. So that's why you have this, tiger and dragon, or hidden dragon, dancing tiger, hidden dragon, or whatever it was, that movie, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.